He is the hottest man in the world, and he sweats more than the water you drink in your life. And the reason why men become like this is because they have watched the video. But fortunately, the people who protect are safe and sound. The man was a computer repairman. When his office was open, his sweat instantly gushed out. The little boy's computer was scrapped on the spot, which stunned him. But what is even more strange is that the man passes by every day will be a place where the cleaner cannot leave. And over time, there is no bus willing to pull him. He can only take out his private money, when the master turns on the air conditioner. The moment the man's sweat finally stops. But the man has a dream of eating grilled. I wanted to see the grilled fish cook, but I didn't expect the sweat to save him directly. Then, I could only silently become his pet. When the courier arrived, he was stunned because the man had to arrange dozens of electric fans around him in order not to sweat. Whenever he left a little bit, he would sweat profusely, which could stun the takeaway brother. And there was a house monster at home, which was really terrible. I was watching TV at home, and suddenly a strange cry attracted my attention. I looked up. It seemed that the toys on the bookshelf were making a sound. Curious, I hurried up and took down the small house, and the cry sounded very much like a mouse. But my house lives on the 18th floor. How could there be a mouse inside through the gap? But unfortunately, I couldn't see anything. I shook it lightly a few times and listened to the sound inside. When I got closer, I found that this was a little house monster. Looking at it, not to mention how cute it was, its courage was very small. I wanted to touch it, but it slipped away. Expect it to be quite fast. I thought it got under the sofa, but when I turned around, it actually ran to the kitchen stove. Is this little guy hungry? First come here to find something to eat, but its speed is too fast, and once again disappeared from under my nose. But when I turned around, it actually ran out under my feet. I was a little impatient and decided to catch it. As a pet today, look at it, just seemed to run into the bedroom. I came to the bedroom, and it was hiding in the room hair in the corner. His evolution speed is too fast. I just wanted to catch him. I didn't expect to let him run away again. And this time, he also ran out of the balcony. I think he has jumped downstairs now. He should not be thrown to death. Thinking of this, I hurriedly ran downstairs. But when I came downstairs, the ground was empty. This is the open space not far away. There is an extra house. The dilapidated appearance of the house is incompatible with the high danger in the community. I walked over with trepidation and observed the next second several spider-like long legs suddenly stretched out from the house. And then the house instantly became a terrible monster, ordinary locusts. This girl is unlucky, carrying a 10-meter machete. The head does not go back into the cultivation room. Facing the cultivation cage is slag for only a few seconds. These locusts can be seen everywhere, and also towards the human race. This boy is very unfortunate to be attacked by a large number of locusts and also received a box lunch that does not require money. It turned out that this woman is relying on breeding locusts to prepare to make a fortune. But the reality test of women, locust reproduction, is getting less and less. This day, the girl is feeding the locusts. One accidentally fell to the ground and fainted directly. And the woman woke up again, full of body. Accidentally found that the locusts were crazy to reproduce. And a very spiritual woman suddenly thought that the scene of that day could not be caused by blood. All this woman made a bold decision at this time and stretched her arm that had not healed into it, but was eaten by locusts. And the woman endured the pain and let the locusts eat, because in this way she could have a lot of income. And sure enough, the number of these locusts increased dramatically. The woman once again had to expand the tent and breed locusts with blood. And the locusts also continued to multiply in the blood, and even their brothers were gnawed. And the final outcome was even more terrible. The man bizarrely found a corpse floating in the air. This scene directly showed him a circle. He stretched out his little hand to touch it and found that there was no support point around. When he wondered why, the companion behind him suddenly found that the corpse's arms seemed to be hanging on the wire. So Xiao Shuai slowly grinded it away. But what made him even more puzzled was that the corpse not only floated in the air, but even kept moving forward. A few people saw this and carefully followed behind it. At this time, they didn't expect that there were these corpses not far away, and they kept floating in the air, so they circled even more violently. and several people didn't figure out the reason for this. Another more bizarre thing happened. The woman was tidying up the cleaning, suddenly heard the cabinet next to her make a zero sound. She opened it curiously to check and found that it was a wallet. At this time, a fragment fell inexplicably. Bizarre is that she actually floated in the air. The woman did not hesitate to pick her up, but actually fell from the 100-meter-high building on the spot, which frightened the surrounding waiters in place. They all looked up at the roof and were surprised that the ceiling was unharmed, and soon Fopolo came here. After some careful research, it was all caused by this fragment, and finally, the fragments were removed with the efforts of the experimenters to prevent more tragedies.